West Ham have just beaten AEK Larnaca away from home in Cyprus in a crazy 2-0 win. Some say it was comfortable. I'm not so sure at times. I think the result come down to quality. Quality in the attacking end of the pitch. Ours, showing through. Theirs really showing them up massively. And that's what it come down to. But, good win, got the job done. But we started slow again. And you sort of worried and thought, wow, like this is going to be another poor game. They had some really good opportunities that, like I said, their lack of quality just cost them. That final ball, final touch, they couldn't quite capitalise on it. And that's was one of the big difference makers. We never really had to switch things on. I wanted to see us go for it, get as many goals in and take it back to our ground, and really get to make some changes. But we weren't quite able to do that. But we did grow into the game in the second half, like right towards the end. Ben Rama, the great ball into Antonio, who, after you give him all the credit in the world for the header, guides it in behind him into the far corner. Really good finish. He took both his goals really well and two really good assists from Rice and Ben Rama. And I had a few people, because I tweeted out saying, it's a joke that Antonio's playing over Scamacca. And people are trying to come at me. And the point I made in my original tweet is nothing to do with, Antonio's not good enough to play in this game. Antonio is more than good enough to play this game. I really wanted Scamacca to get minutes, and I stand by it. Scamacca come on. And yeah, he didn't really affect the game. Didn't have a great start, but it's about fitness. And Scamacca, as me and Jace was saying at the start on the watch along, Scamacca's never really gonna be an impact sub. He's someone you start, and he's gonna grow into the game as you get him those opportunities. And he's come on at about 60 odd minutes. It's not ideal, but for me, it was about fitness for him. At the end of the day, and Cornet I'll get onto later, who I thought looked very bright. So yeah, I don't know, people are trying to come. Look, I'm really happy for Antonio. I really put him for him to get his hat-trick. He nearly did come off the inside of the post, but look, it's Larnaca at the end of the day, but goals are goals, and that's what can just give you confidence. Apparently, I've read that he's like our all-time Premier League goal scorer in all competitions. All-time goal scorer in the Premier League era. In all competitions. Before, he was just a record Premier League goal scorer, but now it goes to all competitions in the Premier League era. So look, great, and he gets a lot of stick, and rightly so in some games, but you can never take away the career that he's had at West Ham and the contributions that he's made. So always happy to see him score. I stand by it. I think Scamacca needs the minutes. I think he's a quality player that we want to start to get the best out of. So start him. Let's get him into it. And thankfully he got to get 40 minutes. Like I said, didn't get to do much. There's a few chances where we could have maybe put him through, but the ball, Paqueta, I thought when he come on, didn't cover himself in glory. Didn't look, didn't play well. But yeah, it's one of those. I think there was quite a few players like that. Fornals, I think, didn't have a great game today. Yeah, it was one of them ones. Like, they was up for it. I mean, they had like 15 corners in the end. The amount of corners they had, they just didn't have that quality. So many chances where there's cutbacks inside the box. I'd love to see how many touches they had in our box. It must have been quite a lot, because the amount of times I had the ball and, decision making, or just the quality of shot, or the final pass into the striker just misplaced, and you think, yeah, if they had that quality up top, they could have really hurt us. So that's got to be a wake-up call. But again, we didn't have to worry so much to the point where we had to come out of second gear. But really, it would have took just 1-2 of them chances to come off. So you can't take any team for granted. At the end of the day, and yeah, I'm just relieved that we did get that win. I was really confident, but as the game started, I started going, "Oh, this could be an upset here." And I see Villarreal drew. It's still, look, regardless of what's happening during this season, we still have a good opportunity to win this competition. which is our only shot at Europe and a chance to win a trophy. So we've got a game at London Stadium. We win that or draw, we're through to the quarters. I think we're essentially through, but can't say they're going to come through to our stadium, big ground, in England, Premier League club. They're going to be up for it, but again, it's their quality that I think will be too much for them. Their lack of quality. So we could be through to the quarterfinals now, which I think is in April. So yeah, no reason why. I think it's April 13th. I think it is. Yeah, no reason why we can't go all the way, to me, apart from obviously how shaky we've been this season. But we've got quality players there. And I'll talk about Cornet. He came off the last 10 minutes. This guy hasn't played in, like four months or so? It's been a long time. He's barely played any football this season. He come on and he just was a bright spark. He's got that pace, that movement. This turn, I'm looking at it now. He takes the ball, turns around their player, puts Paqueta through. How Paqueta misses this one-on-one. He hasn't got the pace, to really break away from the defender who's bearing down on him. So he's got that pressure on him because he just can't run. The keeper's well off his line. He probably should shoot early, really. Takes it too late and right at the keeper. He has to do better there, Paqueta. But great from Cornet to get that run and start and put Scamacca through. And if Cornet can do that and play like that, 10-minute sort of debut, 10-minute cameo appearance after all of this time not playing, what can he do when he's fully fit? And we're talking in the chat, I think getting him in and keep him and Ben Rama in this team, Ben Rama in the 10, Cornet on the left, Bowen on the right. Could you imagine? You got that, and then Scamacca or Rings up top. You've really got a nice mixture of pace, fitness and creativity there with Paqueta and Rice behind. That's the way forward. I want to see that. We've got to do that. If we start playing still playing Souček, with Paqueta and Rice, I don't want to see that. Sunday's a big game now. I don't expect Cornet to be ready to start that game. I don't expect Scamacca to start. Fitness is still an issue. Zuma, if he can start, he played a full game, had a really good game, I thought, Zuma. If he can start, that'll be interesting after playing all of this game. Sunday is huge. Have to win that. I'm not hearing any excuses about we played in Europe. As everyone said, we didn't come out of second gear. Made a few changes. Quite a few players didn't play full 90. Rice came off at half time. So we've got to do the business now. But I'm excited for Cornet to get his game. Maybe start him in the next leg and give him more game time. He's played a bit for the under-23s. Start him against Larnaca in the next game. Let's really get to the point where we can start bringing him into the Premier League games because we'll need him. If we can get to a point where he's starting against Southampton, which is going to be a huge game, that's a big boost. We have the quality in this team to get out of the mess that we're in. We need to start getting the best out of them. And starting on against Villa, that can be huge. A win there is a big boost. Can really push us away from the table and kick on and get some positivity. There's a lot of talks about Jim White coming out and saying that he's a source in the club, saying that Moyes will stay even if we get relegated. I'm hoping it's a load of bollocks. You never know. It could be clickbait. But he is very close with Sullivan. And that is what I don't want. Moyes has to go regardless. I'm not trying to put a downer on things. We did win, but I have to give my real opinion on the stories that are coming out. And if that is true, then we need to make our voices heard. Towards the end of the season. I honestly, I think once we get to a point where we're safe and we've got games to go, then we can do something. Although the final game ain't until June. It's in the beginning of June, so I think probably a week after the season starts. So it just makes it hard. But if they've got any ambition, Moyes will go after that game at least. If we lose to Villa, then you have to really look. And that's the thing. I'm not talking about. I don't want to just sack Moyes because I don't think he should be the manager in the long term for the club. I would sack him in the season regardless. But if we get to the point where it's like, shit, like we're in free fall here, we're in serious danger, we have to make a change, then make a change. I'm not looking to sack Moyes like now, or we have to see. Even if we lose the Villa game, we're looking at, okay, we have to really look at it and decide what we want to do. And I'm Moyes out completely, but I'm not just. I have to be sensible, because what the alternative is interim manager, and probably an experienced one. So yeah, we're in a mess. But I don't like hearing things like his job's safe regardless. Karen Brady come out and said, "Oh, we're not owners that like to change managers." It doesn't matter. You make the best decisions for the long-term future of the club. Not about your reputation, as we don't sack managers. And at the end of the day, I really don't think that he is the man to take us forward. But again, like, we got this win. Hopefully that gives us a bit of positivity, a bit of boost. It was a palate cleanser, I think, after the Brighton game, which was much needed. Come at the right time, because what a downer. I see the players like arriving. They looked like they was going to a funeral coming into this game. And I think just a win away from home, the fans there. I think it was much needed. Much needed. A loss would have been fucking disastrous, for our morale. But yeah, we take the positives. Clean sheet, no injuries, fitness for Scamacca and Cornet. And on to Sunday. Massive game. Huge game against Villa. It's going to be tough. A lot of people are sort of just expecting us to win, but they're a good side. They've got some very good players. And we have to be sensible with how we approach this game. We have to get the lineup right, and the players have to fight, for every ball. I don't want to see anything remotely like we saw against Brighton. So Nicky is up there. Hopefully you'll get some fan cams and some other videos. We'll see. Here's Flynn Downes. I have to give Flynn Downes a shout out, because he, honestly, sometimes I couldn't tell what position he was in. There was times he was the deepest player back, defending. There was times he was the most advanced player forward. Then he's on the wing. He was everywhere. And I really like him as a player. I think he's energetic. He's hungry. I'm gutted that he's going to miss the next round, because he's not getting much opportunities in the Premier League. And that game would have been another opportunity for him to get game time in this team. People are looking at him as a Rice replacement. That worries me, because he don't get enough game time for him to then take that position as someone who plays in most games, for us. So we need to get him as much game time as possible. But yeah, so it is gutting that he is missing the next round with that. It was a silly yellow card to give away, to be fair. But hopefully he can play a part in the quarterfinals. We'll see, but yeah, I like him. I've liked him, since I've seen him in his first game, Flynn Downes, and I'm really excited to see more from him. So yeah, look out for the rest of the videos. Hopefully Nick has got some fan cams coming and some other bits and pieces. And on to Villa. Looking out for all the content for that. Friday Night Pint tomorrow. Come on, you Irons.